Hey, it's Kevin Lawn with the New Warehouse Podcast here at ProMat 2023 in the booth, joined by my old friend Harold Vanasse of EnerSys. Harold, how are you? Welcome to the booth.
Great, Kevin. It's excellent to be with you, like it is always on these shows.
Yes,
great
absolutely.
to see you growing. It's awesome.
Yes. It's a lot of fun, and first off, I appreciate the support always from the beginning. ProMat 2019, actually, I think that's when we met. The last ProMat in person.
ProMat. What! It's great to be back, and boy, it's the show busy.
Yes, super busy. So we're on day 3. So tell us a little bit about how the show's been for you.
You know, it's been fantastically busy. But what was interesting to me to think about the trends that we're seeing, what people are asking for, talking about in 4 years, right? So, labor, can't get enough labor. Equipment takes forever to get.
Yes.
Sustainability is a big topic this year. So those are the things that folks are coming in and wanting to talk about. How do you solve that?
Right.
So, all right, I think reducing labor costs has always been a focus for folks. Getting good return on investment, good total cost of ownership. But this is just, I can't get people. So what can we do to eliminate some of those jobs? Because I can't get people to fill them. So, wow, okay. It's a spin on the same thing, but a lot more urgency.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the thing. I mean, even, we look at Modex last year, right? I mean, that was the big thing too.
Automation.
Yeah. I think every single person, close to every single person that I brought in the booth and did an interview with, they mentioned labor shortage, right? And it's and it's still going on. So
Yeah, and the automation theme, and I remember specifically talking about that at Modex. That was like, wow.
Right.
I looked at the seminar list this year. So it's like, roughly 160 or so, give or take.
Yeah.
45% of the titles had robotics or automation in the title.
Yeah.
It's like, holy, and again, another big trend.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's pretty prevalent. We walk into the show here and it hits you right away, robotics, automation everywhere, right? But tell us a little bit from the power perspective and the energy perspective. What are the big trends that are going on there?
Yeah, so for us, we're really happy to see all of it because it's electric power for the most part.
Right.
You've got those trends going on in general anyway to drive to electrification for a variety of reasons. But with automation in particular, you're seeing power needs reflected there with, I don't want to do any maintenance because, again, it's automated, so I don't want to have to put a person to do some of that stuff. In our booth this year, we're running a live wireless charger with an AGV vehicle.
Right.
We don't make the AGV, JBT put it into this, so we partnered with them to show it at the booth. And it's running and charging, and when you look at that, it's kind of exciting because it's charging our lithium battery, and you think about automation, so automated guided vehicles. Well, but sometimes if I don't have hot shoes, or I'm not working on a connection, I might have a person plug in. Or if I am running hot shoe connections, which is very typical, those will wear, and I need to have a person replace those. Well, you don't have wear and tear on a wireless charger, and when that AGV hits the charging stand because it's programmed in, there's no one that needs to do anything. So you're seeing that true automation. And then the maintenance-free products really lend themselves well to that because typically, and for us, we have thin plate pure lead and lithium ion, both, rapid recharge, high power, no maintenance, all of that saves energy, the more efficient, and save water. That's been a little bit of, and it shouldn't be, but a surprise again on the sustainability thing. People are looking at that sort of stuff.
Interesting.
Hey, we've got water conservation goals that people want to hit, companies want to hit, and so when you look at flooded lead acid battery, which we make a lot of.
Right.
Going to a maintenance-free product, you're not watering it. So there's and the math is kind of crazy how much water you can save, hundreds of thousands of gallons in a large facility, with flooded as you convert. Yeah. So you've got all that, and in addition, you're seeing the trends of IC to electric. CARB on the West Coast is driving some of that. The carbon reduction. But then just as we're moving inside with facilities, you don't want carbon monoxide in general. So you're doing batteries. So Lots of that sort of stuff. So some of those trends have been happening and continue to happen, but then you see these other trends, the bigger trends that are accelerating some stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it's an interesting point about the water. I never thought about that from that perspective, because I think we've talked about sustainability in the past around the batteries. It's about the waste and the recycling.
Energy savings, recycling, exactly right.
Yeah.
But then you come and say, oh, I can do that. It was interesting. So I did a seminar yesterday, and one of the stats that I had done some research on was the number of companies that now offer or issue a sustainability report. So 11 years, in 2011, 20% of the S&P 500 companies, I think, would issue one. Today, in 2022, I believe the statistic is 96%, 96% of S&P 500 companies issue a sustainability report.
Wow.
80% or so of the Russell 1000 publicly traded companies do it. So you're looking at this as not just a fad. This is a trend, and people are looking at all of that stuff. So when you do sit down and look at your operation, which is one of the things that our group is really working with, the EnerSys team, work with the customer to think through some of that stuff. Right?
Yeah.
Like, let's not just take some of that stuff for granted. Let's sit down and say, okay, if we really put pen to paper, and we use a modeling program called Insight, but we start looking at those things, what are all the ways your power decision impact other areas? So tremendously important. The CEO of our company signed a water savings goal. I mean, as part of a publicly traded company, we signed on to that. We're putting a whole farm of solar panels in our corporate headquarters. We're in Reading, Pennsylvania. We have a lot of space doing that to offset carbon emissions from our plant. So again, sustainability. And we've heard a lot of it here at the show. So you see a lot of that stuff.
Very interesting, and I think it's a great thing, and I think companies are, obviously consumers have been, thinking about sustainability for some time.
I think so. They're more ahead of the curve.
Yeah, and now they're kind of pushing these companies to think about it in a more sustainable way, and a more widely reaching, right? And it makes a lot of sense, and as you start to really look at it and take apart the pieces that you can do better on, like you start to, I guess, realize those things like the water savings, like, which is pretty, like I just said, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Like, it is a thing, right? So it's really great to hear that. So tell us a little bit too now about this the wireless charging solution. I know that we've talked about this a couple times, and it's becoming like more and more.
It's real now.
Real thing.
So I think in 2019 we were showing our first concept of it, putting it out. And so it's taken us that time to get it commercially available through all of its testing phase. The pandemic slowed things down a little bit from an electronics perspective, because you couldn't
for
get
a lot
chips.
of people.
Yeah, right. But now it's out. So integrated in with the truck, which is where we're starting for the AGV world, and eventually we'll move it into manual operation, where you could do what we have now. But AGVs, again, we started there because it removes that last bit of non-automation, if you will, the human interaction. The one we're showing, it has a front-mounted charging pad. So the way it works is you have a charging unit with a charging pad. We call it a primary internally. And then a secondary, which is your equipment pad. That's what gets mounted on the truck. Here we've got it mounted on the front of the truck. You can put it on the side of the truck. You can put it underneath and put a pad on the floor. It really depends on how you want to integrate it in the facility. So that secondary pad is connected to a power converter, which then charges the battery. So in our case, with our wireless, we work with our lithium-ion product, our thin-plate pure lead product, and flooded. Because again, I've got that secondary device specific to that battery. So you may have multiple technologies coming and working against that one wireless charger. Typically with AGVs, you might see 3, 4, or 5 vehicles all with their own secondary pads that will come back to the primary, just on schedule. It's all programmed. Robot doesn't care. Come in, probably do their 20-minute charge, and away they go. So it's just kind of a game changer, right? You think about it. So that has been a big draw on our group. People are very excited about it, to see, that factored in with our battery as one integrated system. The truck and the battery are talking, so it knows, okay, if I get to a certain level of discharge, I need to go and recharge. Typically, you'll just program it in. It's like, okay, on the run, go hit the charger for a bit and then move on. And again, thin plate pure lead and lithium ion, are really good at what we call partial state of charge, or opportunity charging whenever you can. So it works out really well.
Yeah.
It's very exciting. It's cool to see.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's having the wireless charging situation is like way overdue, I think, right? I mean, it makes total sense to bring it in and be able to give that flexibility, because I mean, one of the issues is forklift operators, sometimes they forget to plug in, right? And then the next shift is kind of like screwed a little bit.
Absolutely. And so that's where we want to work this, where we move it into what we call manual trucks, right? Is where they're going to park the truck. They just park and it charges because they've put it in the right place. Everything works. It just charges up. And we tend to take a really big system approach in the way we do stuff. So our batteries and our chargers working, collecting all that data, so in sort of an IoT environment. So not only do you get battery to charger talking and battery to truck talking, but you're getting that data also as an operator or a manager in a facility, or maybe a manager of multiple facilities. You're looking at how all of that works together. And where we're working in our data world, right, in our IoT world, is prognostics and predictives to sort of say, hey, Kevin, here's how your trucks are operating, and here's what the batteries are looking like, and you've got something's going on here. Maybe they're not plugging in or parking right, or they're not just getting it. You're seeing some. We want to call out problems to allow you to fix things. So things like that. So that's the next round for that.
All right. We'll be looking forward to that, definitely. And I think it's it's a great thing to be able to take this technology and take it to the next level, and just seeing, I think, in our space overall, material handling industry. I mean, it's crazy to think. We referenced ProMat 2019 a couple times here, but it's crazy to think just even how much the technology has grown since those 4 years has gone past, right?
Well, it's funny because as I was thinking about our talk, it's like, wow, we were together, and yes, we do our Modexes, but you think about the ProMats, because it's been 4 years, and really things have changed a lot in that time frame. So it's cool. It's all good. This is a great industry. It's so much fun, and it's just vital. And hey, the pandemic proved that, right? We all wanted stuff delivered to our house. Forklift touched every bit of it, and it had to be powered by something.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even I was talking to somebody earlier this morning. I mean, even if we look here in the recording place here, the facility itself. I mean, even if we needed forklifts to put all this stuff together.
All this stuff exactly.
So it's like,
right.
So it's really interesting. I mean, no matter what, I mean, we need something that has forks on it in some way to move that pallet and get that thing going. So the more ways, and even like the little improvements here and there that we can increase our efficiency and operations and things is a huge thing. So it's great that EnerSys is able to look at that on the energy side and be able to do that. So I know typically in our discussion we always kind of touch on where are we at with lithium, right? So are we still seeing like a lot of buzz from people asking about lithium?
Absolutely.
I mean, how are we looking at it?
Absolutely, yeah, it is. It's the drive to maintenance free. So we've just introduced our 80 volt lithium product, because we're seeing in Europe a lot of 80 volt, obviously. But you're seeing more 80 volt coming across the water, coming into North America, as you drive from class 4 and 5 to class 1 as we electrify. So, you're looking at that. So the maintenance-free drive is there. So lithium is there. Lots of interest because, it solves some needs. Again, it's that maintenance-free need. So you look at that. So, and again, EnerSys, we're lucky in that we have a thin plate pure lead product as well. It's a maintenance product. It's a lithium-like experience, and we tend to approach it from a hybrid perspective. We don't do it blindly. It's all with our insight modeling. So we're going to sit down and talk to someone about what trucks they have, what kind of power are they using. So again, when we do a power study, put a device on a truck, you'll see it, or we'll help sit down and say, okay, well, we know what your trucks draw. What kind of demand are you seeing? What shifts are you working? How many brakes do you got? Blah, 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 blah. Plug all that in. And then what we'll do is we'll work with that customer, because, lithium's perfect for heavy duty. Thin plate pure lead, light to medium duty. There is a price difference between them. So working with the customer for that, modeling it, you may find a hybrid solution. We'll solve their problem for a little less money, for less money. And that's perfectly good. These got recyclability differences between the two products. Lithium is still very early in the recyclability stream. Lead is, 97, 98% recyclable. So you look at those sorts of things. But I think that's where, when you're doing that, you can come and offer the customer the maintenance-free experience that they want. It hits a number of those boxes for them. and then you can put the right product in the right application. In my mind, I think customers don't, are they asking for lithium because they must have lithium, or are they really asking, look, I just want to get out of doing all this other stuff? I think that's really what it is, because that's what we're finding.
Right, yeah. All right.
And again, the system approach. Have it tied in with your charger. Make sure the charger's doing it appropriately. Pull all that information. You know, we're EnerSys. We always say that sys really is system. It's you've got to, all of the stuff we do in our consumer world is controlled and systemized, and it works really well, and that's what we tend to try to do. So you think about it as a system.
Yeah, and I think that's a great way to go about it. I mean, even as we look at not just the energy solutions, but even all the solutions that are around us here, being able to take that actual information, that data, and transform it into what's actionable. What's actionable, what's the right solution, versus like, oh, I heard about this solution, I guess maybe I need it.
I get something on my phone. What does that do for me? Okay, let's work on it. Yeah, exactly right.
Definitely. So always great to talk to you, Harold, and really appreciate you coming by, giving us the scoop on the energy side of things, and kind of what's going on with EnerSys as well. If people are interested in learning more about EnerSys, how can they do that?
We have a number of ways. Well, if you're still here at the show, come and see us. But EnerSys.com is our website. All kinds of contact information there. You can follow us on LinkedIn. We have all kinds of stuff there. But EnerSys.com is probably the best source. Check us out there. Check us out at LinkedIn.
All right.
Look for us on podcasts.
Definitely. This podcast.
This one here.
On
exactly
this podcast.
right. This one. Exactly right.
So we'll definitely put all that information at thenewwarehouse.com as well, so people can easily find it. So Harold, thank you once again for coming by.
My pleasure, Kevin. Always a pleasure. Thank you.